Yo, what's good, guys? Inswain with Inswain Audio. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and to join our family because I'm dropping videos just like this every day. There's not many people doing it like this. Welcome, we missed you. Anyways, today I'm going to be answering a question that somebody had off of Reddit, not to me, just in general. I saw it, thought it would be a great conversation. I'll expand on it. Let's go. All right, so this person said, low cutting everything except percussion at 30 hertz. Is this a good idea? Are there any instrumental parts, maybe like a bass, that you would advise against cutting under 30 hertz? I've seen some people straight up cut under 30 hertz on the master. Not sure if that's a controversial thing to do. Okay, I'm going to break this down into parts. The first question, low cutting everything except percussion at 30 hertz. Is this a good idea? No, not by default. Is it a bad idea? Not if it's needed. It's not like it's against the rules or it's going to sound bad. In a lot of cases, it probably will sound good, but you shouldn't just say like, here's no example. Should I just always do this no matter what? No. The answer to any question like that is always no. If there's no specific example and it's like a should I always do this, the answer is always no. Doesn't matter what it is. They said, are there any instrumental parts, maybe like a bass, that you would advise against cutting under 30 hertz? So by default, everything. Don't cut under 30 hertz by default on anything. But is there anything that you should never cut under 30 hertz? No. Also, we're starting to realize a pattern here. There is no always indefinites. But even bass guitars, 808s, kicks, subs, like sub basses, there's times where cutting them under 30 hertz sounds good because humans can't really hear down there. Speakers and monitors can't really reproduce it. It's where there's a lot of energy. A lot of times it's just taking up space. So is it always good to cut down there? No. Is it never good to cut down there? No. Sometimes it works. I will expand on that. Some practical things is sometimes cutting 30 hertz is a little too extreme. Try a low shelf at 30 hertz and just remove a few decibels down there. Sometimes that's enough and it also sounds more natural and you keep a lot of the energy in the low end because there's a lot of relational things that happen when you cut and, depending if you're using like zero latency or whatever, there's just a lot of issues that can happen. You got to be careful of, and it's hard to hear, especially if you don't have the best setup. So just be careful, and it's not to scare you away from cutting up to 30 hertz. I've done that before. There's definitely times where I've needed to do that, but I don't do it most of the time, and it's definitely not like a default thing that I do. And then they said, I've seen some people straight up cut under 30 hertz on the master. Not sure if that's a controversial thing to do. I've done that as well. It's definitely not controversial, but to do that by default, once again, that's just not a good idea. This isn't paint by numbers. There is no one size fits all. There's pretty much nothing that's always going to work, and there's pretty much nothing that's never going to work. And I know that's not really helpful, but that's the honest truth. And the quicker you trust me on this or trust whoever telling you that, because there's other people giving the same sentiment, the better off you're going to be. Instead of saying, I want the easy way out, there's got to be something I could always do. This will be fine. I'll always use this setting. I'll always use this preset. Eventually you're going to realize that we were right all along and you should have listened to us from the beginning. And that's not to like talk down on anyone because I'm not better than anybody else, but I know this for a fact. I've gone down that road. I know what it's like to come full circle and to realize like, oh, okay, this is really an art and you really just got to listen. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend cutting everything below 30 hertz, no matter what it is by default. But there's also nothing that I would say that you can't ever cut below 30 hertz. Bass, sub, the lowest things you could imagine, there's times where it sounds good to cut below 30. And it depends on so many factors. I couldn't even begin to name them all. So I could never list to you all of the factors that cause this. You just got to listen. But some frequent ones, I would say, if it's like an 808, if it's really boomy, it can take up a lot of space. If you have a lot of things in the low end, it also matters on your mid-range and high end and the balance between that. Are you doing master bus compression? Any sort of dynamic range reduction on your master bus is going to, alter how you hear the low end, and then you might want to consider cutting. But like I said, try a shelf instead of cutting. A lot of times that's going to sound better and going to do the trick. But nothing wrong with cutting, and sometimes you need to cut below 30 hertz, and that's okay. But don't always do it. But that's enough for that. I think that covers it. I hope that makes sense. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. Do you do this? Have you ever heard of that? What is your experience with it? I'd love to talk about it. Anyways, guys, my name is Inswain with Inswain Audio. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I just recorded a video and said the same thing. I'm about to record another one and say it again. I feel like a robot. It is what it is, though. I love it. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.